envelope, innocent and white, resting on my kitchen counter. I'm a 27-year-old woman who has spent years building a stable life, or so I thought. When I opened my monthly bank statement, the air left my lungs. Thousands of dollars, my entire emergency fund, had been drained through a series of unauthorized transfers. Welcome to Moral Verdict Stories. This is my journey through a betrayal I never saw coming. I checked the recipient accounts. The names were familiar, yet the realization felt like a physical blow to the chest. My hands shook as I pulled up my banking app, hoping for a glitch, but the numbers remained stubbornly low. The betrayal wasn't from a stranger. It was coming from inside my own circle. I felt a cold sweat break out as I realized the people I trusted most had treated my future like their personal piggy bank. I didn't call. I didn't text. I drove straight to my childhood home, the engine humming a low, anxious rhythm. My mother was sitting in her usual armchair, looking every bit the serious, middle-aged matriarch she always claimed to be. When I dropped the statement on the coffee table, she didn't even flinch. She just looked at it, then back at me, her expression as cold as a winter morning. "We needed the money for the family legacy," she said, her voice devoid of any apology. My mother spoke as if my life's savings were simply a communal resource she had the right to reallocate. She looked at me with a serious, judgmental gaze, as if I were the one being selfish for questioning the theft. I stood there, feeling the gap between us grow into a canyon. Then, my 31-year-old sister strolled into the room, a glass of wine in her hand and a smug grin plastered across her face. She didn't look guilty. She looked triumphant. "Don't be so dramatic," she chirped, leaning against the doorframe. "You have a high-paying job. You won't even miss it in a few months. Consider it a sister tax." They sat together on the sofa, a united front of entitlement. My mother nodded along as my sister explained how they had used my excess funds to settle some of their own mounting debts and a few luxury upgrades for the house. They spoke about my hard-earned money as if it were a gift I had been too slow to offer, their faces showing no trace of remorse for the breach of trust. The room felt like it was shrinking. I started to scream, not out of anger, but out of a deep, agonizing hurt. I asked them how they could do this to me, how they could look me in the eye after stealing my security. My voice cracked, and tears finally began to spill over. I wasn't just a daughter or a sister to them. I was an ATM. My mother stood up, her face hardening even further. "If you're going to be this hysterical over a little help for your family, then maybe you aren't the daughter I thought you were," she said. My sister let out a short, mocking laugh, swirling her wine. That was the moment. The final thread snapped. I realized that as long as they were in my life, I would never be safe. I turned around and walked out. I didn't take any of the mementos I had left there. I didn't say goodbye. As I reached my car, the night air felt sharp and clear. I sat in the driver's seat, the silence of the vehicle a stark contrast to the venomous environment I had just escaped. I looked back at the house. The lights were still on, glowing warmly, hiding the rot inside. I pulled out my phone and, one by one, I hit the button. Blocked. My mother, my sister, gone from my digital world and my future. It hurts, but the peace is worth the price. So I turn to you, the community of Moral Verdict Stories. They say blood is thicker than water, but is it thicker than a bank account they felt entitled to bleed dry? AITA for cutting off my family?